Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Co-Host, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Toledo, Ohio, and Toronto, Ontario. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Well, not only are they killing children at a record pace, and that, again, that's not according to you or according to me. That's according to the paper of record in Israel, Haaretz, that they broke a record of killing children, 300 children in 51 minutes. The Israelis did, the IDF did, and they're also killing journalists at a record pace. Over 200 journalists have been killed, targeted and killed in Gaza by the IDF, by Israel, and nobody speaks about it in the United States. Nobody. In fact, here, the one of the few people who will bring it up, they bring it up at a State Department briefing meeting, and here we are. Israel has killed 2 more journalists, Hossam Shabat and Mohammed Mansour. That brings the number to 208 journalists. And I'm supposed to think that Putin is the guy who kills all the journalists, right? He's the thug. Putin does it. No, Israel's doing it, which means the United States is doing it because we're the one funding it and supporting it. And they couldn't be doing this unless the United States supported it and supported blocking everything to stop this at the UN. So the United States is 100% culpable for this, and blood is on our hands. So we're the ones killing journalists, right? We're the ones who are supposed to be, we're supposed to hate Donald Trump because Donald Trump was rude to Jim Acosta in the United States at a press conference. Meanwhile, they're literally funding the slaughter of journalists, targeting them, 208 of them. And so here's so this is the new spokesperson. The last spokesperson looked very much like Nosferatu. The new one, it's a woman, and she's there to defend the slaughter of journalists and children, and she's asked about it, and listen to her stupid response.
The Israelis have killed 2 more journalists, Hossam Shabat of Al Jazeera Mubasher, Mohammed Mansour of Palestine Today. That brings the number to 208. Each one was individually targeted. The IDF says they used extensive intelligence gathering and precise munitions. Shabat killed in his car, Mansour in his house. The Committee to Protect Journalists has once again noted that the deliberate targeted killing of journalists is a war crime. Do you have any comment?
I would say that every single thing that's happening is a result of Hamas.
So that's it. So it's not the people who are actually killing these people. It's not their fault. It's the fault of Hamas. That's why they're killing journalists. They're not killing Hamas. They're killing journalists. Now it's up to 208 journalists, and you won't hear a peep about that in the press in the United States. You're not going to hear Rachel Maddow cry tears about it, fake crocodile tears. You're not going to hear Jim Acosta care about it, but he will talk about how bad the Trump administration was rude to him at a press conference. But they're literally your country is now slaughtering people. Journalists, not just people, but journalists, and journalists won't even speak up for it. And here's just journalist Hassan Hamad, 19 years old. Another one, Hassan Shabat, 23 years old, and Ismail Agul, 27 years old. Israel killed them one by one. They weren't collateral. They went and targeted them and killed. They're killing journalists on purpose. And here's the latest: was a journalist who worked for Dropsite News. And his last message was, I ask you now, do not stop speaking about Gaza. Do not let the world look away. Keep fighting, keep telling our stories until Palestine is free. And they killed him. Are you shocked that at the silence? I'm gonna imagine it's the same in Europe, that no one's speaking about the slaughter of actual journalists in this war by the IDF and Israel on purpose, targeting them, just like they're targeting children. When I say targeting children, I mean the autopsies show that they had 2 and 3 bullet holes in their head. So let me just throw it to you.
Well, I'm shocked but not surprised because all of this has happened in the last 16, 17 months. Imagine the last 76 years. They have been doing this throughout the period. And 208 journalists, mostly television journalists, by the way, yet their murders have never once appeared on television in your country or in mine. And I asked just the other day on X, on Twitter, how can these journalists and broadcasters sleep at night? For they must know that their fellow broadcasters, fellow journalists, even one of those from Al Jazeera, famous throughout the world, Al Jazeera, which is watched by people throughout the world, they knew this young boy as if he was their own son. They watched him every day reporting from the carnage. And then he also is murdered. And none of the fellow journalists or broadcasters have even reported, never mind condemned, the murder of their fellow professionals. We have a saying in England, thank God you cannot bribe or twist the average British journalist, but when you see what unbribed he'll do, you realize there's no reason to. And I'm afraid that adage, going back more than 100 years, is as true today as it was then.
What do you think it's... I mean, where do you see this go? I mean, I just don't, I had Jewish friends who said that the Israeli economy is crumbling because of this war, yet they keep expanding, right? So now they're in Syria. China just came out. That's how easy it is to be superior morally than the United States in this. They came out, China came out and demanded that Israel get out of Syria. But I'm told, by my Jewish friends that their economy is crumbling, yet they keep expanding and they keep continuing the war. Is this going to turn out bad for Israel, or are they going to get everything they always wanted? A war with Iran, so we decapitate Iran just like we did with Iraq, just like we did with Libya, just like we did with Syria, just like we're trying to do in Yemen. Are they going to get everything they want and nothing ever? There's going to be no blowback on this?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, even in the next days, if there's an attack on Iran, Iran will unleash terrible vengeance on Israel. They've shown twice already in the last 16 months. They can hit anywhere they like with any amount of payload that they like. They deliberately sent few ballistic missiles with very light payload, but they have the capability of landing hundreds of ballistic missiles on Israel with super heavy payloads. So if there's an attack on Iran, Israel will be a very different place the next day than it is today. The better educated Israelis are all gone now from the country. I used to hang out in Shankin Street in Tel Aviv, near to the beach, with a very large number of, I suppose you'd call them, the peace camp in Israel, Israeli Jews. One was a puppeteer, the other was an actor, the other owned cinemas, the other was a professor of Shakespeare at Tel Aviv University. I could go on, but all of them long ago left Israel. And they're living in Paris, in Lisbon, in London, and in New York and elsewhere. So the educated class has long ago left Israel. Others are scrambling to get out now. They're struggling for people. Their soldiers are not turning up for duty. They're talking now about a 15,000 shekel fine if you don't show up on time for your military deployment. Some 40,000 Israeli soldiers were either killed, wounded, or psychologically damaged to a medical standard of measurement just in the last 16 months. 40,000. Israel only has 7 million people. And of course, it's sitting on a powder keg. It occupies land in the West Bank and Gaza, plus the Palestinian population inside Israel itself. It's 50-50. There's as many Palestinians living in Israel as there are Israeli Jews. So it's a powder keg. And we've seen how easily its defenses can be breached, not just by Iran, but by the Yemenis in their sandals, by Iraqis, by Lebanese resistance. Their defenses can be breached at will. And the toll on the civilian population in Israel is very considerable. Your friends are right. Their economy is well and truly effed. And if it wasn't for the endless subvention from your taxpayers, it would long ago be a bankrupt state. But they hang on. They hope, like Macabre, that something will turn up, that some devastating American blow against their enemies will somehow open up a new future for them. But it's a pipe dream. They will never be accepted in the Middle East. If they had not behaved in the way that they have, they might by now, if they'd lived up to the Camp David Accords, whose anniversary this is, if they'd lived up to the Oslo Agreement, made again on your White House lawn, if they'd lived up to the two-state solution that they said they believed in but no longer do, then it might have been different. But they have endlessly expanded, ruthlessly killed, utterly suppressed, and now people cannot possibly accept living alongside them. And I believe that the only solution for this is not the so-called two-state solution that the Oslo Agreement promised and which I supported at the time. More fool me, believing that it might lead to something. The only solution is a one-state solution where Jews, Muslims, and Christians are equal citizens under the law. I'd even rename it. I'd call it the Holy Land. Could be good. Could be a real place of pilgrimage. But I don't believe I'll see it, Jimmy. And my children, who are very young, will also be quite lucky ever to see it.
What do you think you'll see?
I think war, and more war. I saw my friend Lionel, who's in New York, I think. He's now advertising on his show bunkers and packages, food packages, for 4 weeks to see us through the nuclear war that we might be about to enter. Well, no bunker and no package will save us from what might well lie ahead. And we'll be wishing we'd been taken by the initial blast when we emerge from under our stairs, our food package long exhausted, into a nuclear winter. This is the highest of stakes. I'm so old I lived through the Cuban Missile Crisis. I remember lying frightened in my bed that tomorrow there might be no world, no human race. And we got through that by the wisdom of your president and the Soviet leader Khrushchev. We got through it. We're now back in an even more dangerous situation than we were then. It's only seconds to midnight on the doomsday clock. So it might be that Israel-Palestine becomes otios because there's no human race, there's no countries, there's nothing. That's how big our crisis really is in the world.
Hey, if you watch my show, you already know the mainstream news media is not reliable. They never tell you the truth about Russiagate, Ukraine, COVID lockdowns, or anything. That's why I keep partnering with Ground News. Their app and website make it super easy to compare media coverage from all over the world in one place. Like on Trump shifting his stance on Ukraine, if you go to Ground News/JD, you'll see the full coverage on how he's cut them off from intelligence sharing. Even the UK, one of our closest allies, can't pass along any U.S. intel to Ukraine. Ground News gives me instant access to over 300 articles covering it worldwide. They even tell you if each reporting source has a political bias, how reliable the reporting is, and if they're independently owned or corporate controlled. They'll even show you where the news sources are based. It's a super helpful way to see what kind of biases lead to some thinking this is some catastrophic betrayal of Ukraine that weakens NATO, while others call it a strategic realignment that forces Europe to take responsibility for its own security. when it comes to anything Trump does, you know the media is going to twist it to whatever fits their agenda. And if you're not checking multiple sources, you're going to fall into their trap. So I can't recommend enough following the Ukraine war on ground news and checking your blind spots to find these stories missing from the other side of the political spectrum. You won't get this kind of transparency from mainstream media. Ground news is a lot like this show, actually. They're doing what we're doing. So just go to groundnews/JD or just scan the QR code on the screen. We're offering my viewers 40% off the same plan I use, which gets you unlimited access to all their features. This knocks the price down to just $5 a month. Subscribing not only supports an independent news platform working to make the media more transparent, it also supports this show and everything we do here. Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Co-host, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Toledo, Ohio, and Toronto, Ontario. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.